Alrighty. Hello, 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 everybody. Hopefully you're all doing well. Hope the sun is just shining on you all today. We're back. For some reason, my Fugi decided to work today. I don't know what it is. Some days it doesn't, some days it does. I also adjust the volume, so you might have to turn your end up because for some reason now with the new mic, I'm extra quiet, and I don't know why. But yeah, we're back with some drawing. Sorry about yesterday with 4, but we were tweaking, working on some stuff, and couldn't find the time. I have something later on today, so maybe we'll go for like 2 hours or so, a little bit more. I tried Rivals a little bit before this again. I want to get it working. I realized it was really, really laggy last time. I don't know why, but I nuked all of the settings in OBS and then also for streaming, just in general. And hopefully it should be a little bit better. I have to drop some of the quality down, but at least for me, it doesn't really make that much of a difference. Like, I can't tell. Maybe you guys can, but we'll see. We'll test it later, because at least it worked on my end. The first time I looked at my recording that I did beforehand, it was still laggy, but this one ran perfectly smooth, so I don't know, maybe it'll be a little bit more with stream. But that's okay. For now, let me just turn on the screen sharing, and then I will put a little tweet. We're back with some art, but I know it's been a minute. Also, God, my mic is sensitive, so anything that slightly moves on the desk, it's gonna make a noise. Like, if I just like tap the desk lightly, you can pick it up. I don't know why it does that. I mean, I got it recently. I was still trying to figure out the settings for it, but the noise suppression, at least like I can turn it on here. Let me change the settings. I had to turn the low CPU version on so that I could run Rivals properly, but because it's just art, I can turn it back on now. It doesn't really pick it up as much, which is better. I think, yeah, I can turn on noise suppression and it helps a little bit. But hopefully the mic quality is a little bit better. I'm not just using the preset one in my headphones. So now you can hear my schizophrenic voice in HD quality or something. Okay. So I'll put on my tweet and we'll get started. Let me just copy the links. Nope. Come on. You swear I would sort of figure out what I'm doing eventually, but you'd be surprised. Take a picture. Today we're doing a little bit different than last time, but we're continuing some fan art that I was doing of Rima Even Start. Should be relatively quick. I think this one actually went by fast. And I used some new techniques I learned about Procreate, which was funny. I actually learned it from one of the viewers, which was good. I might make a short about that too, but I've been debating what I'm gonna do. Okay, I'll take a picture of this. Post in my tweet. But yeah, hopefully you're all doing well. Let me turn on chat things so you guys can see. And then I also grab the Twitch notification thing again so that you guys can actually see me. Hopefully the audio balancing isn't bad. You can let me know if I need to be turned up or the volume needs to be turned down. I mean, really, I can't turn myself any up more than this. For some reason, this is the max it'll go, and I don't know why. There we go. Back with some more art. Come say hi. Let me get this Astro Labs thing to work. It should have all 3 set up, which is nice. Browser 2. Let's refresh. Drag it up a little bit. Okay. There we go. And then I also have this up. Okay, I can see everything now. Perfect. And I post the reply, and then maybe one on YouTube, and then we'll get started. that's one down. YouTube is almost done. We'll do that, and then 30 seconds. I can plug this thing back in, and we'll get started. Back now with some more art. And like I was saying earlier, I might try Rivals again, but at least we'll do art for an hour or two beforehand, and then I can get it going, because it was working fine now. I tried to fix it. The quality had to just be tweaked a little bit, the resolution, and then also like the low latency mode I adjusted. So that should be better now. Let me make sure that I put the post on YouTube, and then I can hit the start button. So realize you guys can probably hear me typing a little tiny bit. It's almost like an ASMR. Whatever. Okay. Now we'll get started. Actually, I started watching Jujutsu Kaisen recently, funnily enough. So now I actually know the opening. Come on. There we go. Finally get it plugged in. There we go, and you guys should be seeing it in about 30 seconds. No, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nope. No. Oh. I'm an absolute idiot. I forgot to separate it into a different window before I started the capture. Let's not do that. Nope. No. You see nothing? You see nothing? Come on. No. Roger. I swear to God. Maybe. I don't know why the window capture isn't working. Normally I have it set up fine. Give me a minute. We're just gonna have to... Swear to God, this is my punishment. This is my punishment for not streaming. The computer is now like, you traitor, you cheater. We'll get there eventually. See, this is normally what people do during the starting soon screen. We don't have that, so instead I'm going to be difficult. I'm going to delete this. Okay. Add another window capture. Or should it be browser? It should be window. It's set up like that. I don't know why. Not game capture. I will turn that off. Oh, maybe I should put this behind me. That might help. I'm so stupid. I forgot I need to tap back in every time I do it. Octavia VT, how's it going? Welcome on in. Welcome, welcome. Finally, I got it to work. This is my punishment. My computer was like, you haven't streamed in a couple days, you fucking cheater. This is what you get. Now nothing's gonna work. But hopefully you're doing well. Welcome on in. Welcome, welcome. Let me just rescale this. I'm doing right, yourself? Figure, well, I spent today all this morning trying to troubleshoot some tech issues. I was working on some other stuff recently, and so I couldn't stream as of late, but I spent this just doing audio editing. Doing great, just finishing some stuff. Good to hear, glad. I mean, did this work now? Is it finally? Okay. Doing fairly alright. It's going. Well, we'll see. It's working now. It was going not so great this morning when I had tech issues, but everything's fine now. And hopefully we'll continue. Okay. I'll just start drawing before my computer decides to change its mind. And hopefully, I got a new mic, so the audio balancing is a little bit off, so do let me know if everything is okay. Okay, we'll just continue filling out the gray everywhere, and then we can get to shading. Oh. Grab that, airbrushing. Nice to meet you. You as well. Let me throw on the right layer. Okay, turn alpha lock off, and then we can continue filling. Okay, because for some reason when I got the audio, when I listened to it, it was so much quieter than when it used to be when I just had my headset one on, so I had to lower everything just so it balanced properly. Do I play any games too, or just stick to this one? All sorts of stuff. We do horror RPGs. I'm trying to get back into some horror stuff over the summer. Rivals, some FPS here and there. Yeah, but as of recently, just doing a bunch of art because I can figure I can work on some stuff on stream. But yeah, it depends. Oftentimes we're just working on this stuff, and then we did some Persona 5 way back in the day. Do I stream on Twitch? I'm on Twitch, YouTube, Kick. I was trying to get into TikTok. I mean, I post stuff there, but unfortunately, there's a bunch of rules with using OBS and being a VTuber and that sort of thing, so we're trying for that, but yeah. YouTube, Kick, and Twitch are the main three. Yeah, thank you. Yes, it does. I did it on and off months ago, but probably like a month or two ago is when I started doing it. We were just here and there. Probably aim for like 4 at least days a week, and it's been going well. But now that summer started, and I have a little bit of a different schedule during the year versus summers, so. I'm alright. Thank you for asking, though. Figure anything I need to use anyways, I'm capable of making myself, but I appreciate it. There we are. I'll just keep going. Let me move my iPad. I can move it a little bit over in front so that I'm not too far away. I changed the way the desk is set up, so it's a little bit different. There we go. What is this from again? I know the lyrics. Oh, this is Kiss of Death. That's what it is. This is from Darling in the Franxx. I haven't even seen it, but I know that song like the back of my hand. It's just me, so don't you be afraid. It's probably one of the 3 or 4 songs in this playlist. Well, not playlist, but this video that I actually know. That it could touch the sky. Let me change the background color so it's a little bit easier to see the gray. A little bit brighter. And then we'll just fill. Come on. Oh, right. Wrong layer. Of course. It's always on the wrong layer. Will your lips taste the kiss of death? I don't know what it sounds like in Japanese. I've only heard this in English. There we go. Just keep going with the braid like that. I feel like this one is going relatively quickly, but I still feel like I'm wasting time. I don't know what it is. We just need to go faster, I guess. Just continue like so. And then erase around the edges here. Trying to make it relatively clean before I start doing the colors and stuff too, but I feel like sometimes I waste too much time on that and ends up just slowing me down for no reason. Okay, fill this with gray here. I'll have to add some more detailing on the shoes, but I need to look it up because it's a combination of Rima. Oh wait, I didn't even explain what we're drawing basically. Sorry, I just assumed sometimes you can read my mind. Let's go in the explanation. So we have Giovanni Joestar from JoJo Part 5. Because, for those of you who don't know Rima Evenstar, VTuber, she does news and then also covers just all sorts of other stuff, right? This is what she looks like. So it's a combination of her and Giovanni, because she was recently reacting to Part 5. There you go. Now you guys are in the know. I need to look at what the shoes look like for Giovanni again. So I figure I'd do her in his outfit. Are the shoes in this one? Yes, they are. Okay, they're simple, so it's not like I missed anything anyways. Okay. Continue with this arm here, going up and down. Is my head twitching? Yes, it is. Every time I look down, it snaps. Sorry about that. Looks like I'm breaking my neck when I look down at the iPad. Just continue filling. Maybe I can increase the size a little bit. I know there's probably faster ways to do this. I don't know them, so we're just going to continue to do it this way. A little wing bit. The funny thing is, I saw the first season of JoJo. I saw the first episode, and then I stopped. And then I watched all the first season again. Because spoilers, first episode something effed up happens to an animal, and I'm a very big animal person. Humans, I don't really care. Animals, yes. But then I watched all the rest of the first season, and then I kind of gave up after that. I had a friend of mine saying that I should watch it, and it gets better after that, but I don't know. And then I saw Miss Rima react to season 5, and it seemed interesting enough. I don't know if there's anybody in the chat who can vouch for it. There we are. There we go. It's like her stand sticking out, and then we can color the rest of this hair bit that comes out. Okay, maybe I erase a small hole in that because I feel like it's too much. Let's just carve a little gap and we can fill back around. Make this smaller. There we go. Just fill the rest of that. Just, you know, I'll have to zoom in. I normally avoid doing this, but I think it's just the fastest way. Also good. I'm not necessarily wearing my glove today, too, so I'm trying to be very cautious about touching the screen because I may accidentally knock something or, you know, bump into it and have like the reset button hit or the delete or something by accident. So I'm just trying to be very cautious. I burnt my hand, my knuckle earlier on a frying pan, which isn't fun. But like something fell down, I went to reach it and accidentally grazed the hot stove, so that was interesting. But it's okay, it's just a little mark anyways. And there we go. See, we're almost done with the like grayscale, and then we can go straight into coloring after that. There we go, we're almost done with the ear bit. This was kind of interesting trying to figure out how it would look like in a JoJo style. The shading, I think, is a large portion of it. Like in the face. If it was just a bunch of line art, you wouldn't really be able to do it. A lot of it is going to be shading, having like that black scale on top of it. Continue like this. Actually, funny thing is, I think the noise suppression is working relatively well, because earlier it would have picked on all these tiny little movements that I'm making, but it's not anymore, which is nice. Because I was recording something earlier, and it made everything way too quiet, so I had to turn it all off, and then I had to be like really careful about what gets picked up by the mic. So I need to figure out that again. Just keep going up here, perfect. Okay, and the last bit is the ear, and then we can get straight into coloring. Perfect. I mean, I'm trying not to be too precise, but I don't really have to. As long as you're roughly in the lines there, it works fine. Because I think that's one of the things I waste a lot of time on. I think a lot of getting better is just realizing what you do and don't have to do. So I think that's definitely one thing I can improve on. Okay. Then we will alpha lock the layer. We will pull up some colors first and foremost, because it is Mr. Giovanni's outfit. Perfect. There we go. Just keep going like that. And then that's going to be a hand there, so I just need to remember that. And continue down here. There we go, and I think, yeah, the pants end pretty normally, right? Yeah, okay, that's fine. So we'll just continue like so. Also, I wonder if this is another thing that kind of gets me going. JFC fan, welcome on in, welcome. Relaxing stream as always. I mean, I try to be. Would you rather I'm like screaming into the mic and sounding a little schizophrenic? Because I can do that too. Whatever suits your fancy. Yeah, we're just doing some fan art today. Welcome on in. Just doing something like JoJo, if you ever seen the show, JoJo's Part 5, Giovanni, but as a VTuber. Rima even star. Because I saw one of her streams reacting to it. Okay. Back to what I was saying. This reminds me, whenever I think of the JoJo author, I know he vehemently hates digital art. Because I've seen what he said about it before. And I know I disagree, and no, actually, sometimes I agree, sometimes I disagree. It really just depends on the day. So I wonder what his thoughts are having an anime adaptation. I need to look this up because he's been very much not a fan of drawing things digitally, like whatsoever. So I'd honestly be curious to see what he believes about animation, because a lot of that is now done digitally completely. That'd be a shocker after watching some of your drawings for a bit. It depends. I'm trying to, we might be doing some kind of different stuff over the summer. Still doing art, but I might pick up how much I stream. So maybe do some more horror, some more shooters, some more RPGs. I mean, if you want to see me scream, tune into one of those horror streams, because I'm a bit of a chicken shite. And there we go. Okay. Also, God, this microphone picks up everything. Like I'm slightly shifting in my chair and I can hear the creak, but I think it's suppressed for you guys at least. Let's see it go just like we promised. Like so. There we go, and we'll finish just kind of quickly coloring in the rest of this. That works fine. Yeah, move this to the side for a second. It's been close to half an hour. Let me tune into the other streams, make sure everything's okay. Because on my end, it doesn't say there's anything, but I know the Kick chat specifically is weird. Because sometimes it just doesn't show up on my end for whatever reason. Okay, we're all fine. Everyone's alive. Interesting. We're back to normal. It's okay. I will jump back into here. I forgot that was a thing, because I remember earlier when I was setting up stream, that wasn't working. It wasn't showing the AirDroid cast. And I forgot that you had to tab back in every time before you tab back out at OBS. Like, I didn't stream for 2 days, basically, and I completely forgot how everything works. There we go. We can do some of this kind of pink color here around where the neck is supposed to be. Oops, not too much. There we go, and then just behind the head there. So then, I guess after the pink, we'll do some of the gold, probably. Let me just, fine, get this over with. Okay. Then I could do some of the gold. Or I'm thinking the blue, because I mean, Rima does have different hair colors. So I could do the brown and the white instead, though that may take a little bit more time, so I could do that. decisions. You know what? Let's go back to the gold first. We can do the hair color after, just because the hair is on top of the gold around the neck. Perfect. Zoom back out, just so I have the color. There we are. And then we color this bit out like that there. That's fine. I don't need to be... I'm too worried about being messy, so I can just color there. And then it's fine, because I'm going to cover it up anyways, because the places where it's leaking are places that are going to be colored later. Okay. The one side I'm supposed to be worrying about is the one side I'm not worrying about, which isn't great. And that golden line there, flick the zipper. And does it continue down? No, it doesn't. It just kind of ends there, which is fine. So you have the gold bit around whatever these are supposed to be. So just like gems, badges, pins, something like that. And then from there we can do the brown on the hair, or the skin. A little bit too much. Let's do that, patch this bit, and then the hand gets colored. Perfect. There we go. This will be mostly shadows around the neck anyways, because the art style does involve a lot of really harsh shadows, which is kind of interesting. Sometimes I feel like it really does set it apart, which is nice. And then I also go back and forth if I would want to incorporate that into my own style, because, you know, artists say they find your style and blah, 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 but I never really kind of figured out what that means. I feel like sometimes there's definitely things I want to emulate, like Persona 5, or the Persona Atlas in general. I love the way they do eyes and all that sort of thing. So I've started adapting that into some of my work. Let me turn my headset audio down a little bit. I have no idea what this one is. The song? Do I have anything else? Right, the neck here. But that's basically just going to be shadows anyways. So then... Stop glitching. Stop glitching. I'm going to shake you back and forth until you stop glitching. There we go. Stop. Behave. Okay. Now we'll go back to Miss Evenstar. Grab some colors from here. Perfect. Just kind of like a lighter browny color, maybe? Okay. And this bit I can sort of just go up and down like that, because it has been alpha locked. It's going to be a little bit different with a different hair color. turn alpha lock off for a second so I can add maybe just a tiny bit of the edges that I missed earlier. Then I can go and erase that. There we go. Hair like that, hair like that. This bumps in and out. And you also need to figure out what color that tie is supposed to be. I could just make it yellow. And then we have hair down here behind her. Perfect. And we'll continue down here. I need to figure where the white streaks go, so we'll probably do that after, right after this, the flat color, and then I can start to shade. So I don't know why, if you guys can hear this staticky noise, let me know, but I feel like every time I adjust, there is some kind of static noise. I'm trying to avoid that as much as possible. Microphone, are you going to behave? Maybe, okay. Gotta be really careful about where I'm putting all this stuff. Okay. Around the edge of the face. Like so, perfect. Okay. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. I know I want to avoid this normally, but it's okay. We're going to turn this slightly, and we're going to go and just kind of flick in the hair. Perfect. There we go. Hair behind her head. And then the outside of the ears. Also, funny thing is, she used to be a horse VTuber, but now she's a fox. I just find that funny. Perfect. There we go. And then we have this bit as well on the ear, so I can do all this side. It's okay, the crown will be colored right after this, it's okay. And then that little strand of hair bit that goes over. Now then, I guess white fluff for the inside of the ears, but I can probably do the eyebrows after that. Like so. Do the white coloration here. Filling that there, okay, and then we'll just do the edges like so around it. I'm trying to be careful with what I already colored. We'll zoom out a little bit. Kind of even starting the JoJo style. The shading will make up most of it. We're just gonna have to trust the process. When you're doing JoJo's, a lot of it is the shading. I mean, bits and pieces of the line art, right? But you can only set up so much. Like I start on the face. Okay. And then what else can I do? I have probably the white left to do on the other ear. I'll zoom out. I just need to stop zooming in. Shrink this. It's okay. I'll do the crown in a second anyway, so it doesn't matter if I go over that. Something like that. Okay. And then fill out the background here as well, because this should all be white. And then the crown I can do after. What else do I have to do? I mean, there's like bits and pieces of that darker red that we can add. That I am a little cautious about, because where would I even put them? Unless I'd, you know, brown around there, but... There we go. What do we do next? I mean, we could do around the eyes, just the flat color there, or you can move on to the shoes or the stand. Let's do the eyes. So we'll get some of her purple. The really, really dark one first. We'll get the light one. Something like that. And then we will do maybe the really, really light color right on top of that. Like so. The little white there. And then technically, yeah, there's like a big beacon for white stuff there. So let me go to the JoJo style itself. I'm just kind of double check how they do eyes. Because a lot of this is just kind of referencing that. Right, a lot of those lines, kind of darker center. Let me change that then. Darker center, something like that. A lot of these lines here. Something like that, okay. And then like the really dark surround. So we'll just go a little bit heavier then. And go in a circle around the eye, perfect. And we can just do black eyes, I guess, really dark, because they're all, I mean, the eyelashes and the eyelid themselves. I think all the characters are like that. Maybe, I mean, I can go slightly up and give it maybe like a purple, but other than that, it's going to be pretty close. Let me zoom out again. Okay. Is this Seven Deadly Sins? I always forget the name of the songs. So we go over here. Then we just finish the one eye, and then same thing with the other one. I don't add just like little flecks underneath it, more lashes. Just little small, tiny little lashes all over. You guys can barely see them, but they're there. I'm adding little tiny ones. Perfect. Come on, give me the dark color again. This is a love-hate relationship with the color grabber. Sometimes I love it, sometimes I want to strangle it. But it seems to be working okay today. So then, I think, yeah, we'll just probably finish all the flat coloring first. We'll just do everything a step at a time. I'm not going to jump the gun. We're not going to do like last time. So we move on. So I need to figure out where the white is going to go in her hair. She does have shocks of white. So there's like a big one in the center, which means probably... to some extent like that. Probably something like that. That'd be fun. You know, stuff like that. Just kind of shocks of white that go through the hair. Although no, because the white wouldn't be that far up, it would be much further back. So like the second one is okay, but that first one is way too close. Oh, this one is crossing field, I know that instantly. Okay. So that one is primarily like that, that's fine. And I can maybe increase the white there. The second one is towards her left and right bang, sort of. So I could just add it like that. So wait, let me do one more thing. I'm just gonna check on the streams again. Make sure I'm not missing anything. Okay, that's all fine. YouTube, I don't know if I can... Too late now. Okay, there's one more thing I need to change, but I should have set it up before stream. That's okay. I was debating if I was going to set up like a vertical stream as well for YouTube, but that's okay. It's too late now. I have to do that beforehand. Sometimes the formatting is a little bit off. There we go. Okay, I'll zoom out a little bit. I mean, just the way that things are set up, because sometimes you can't really see me or the screen depending on the way it's set up there. It's usually one or the other, especially when I'm editing shorts too. So I don't know how they would set up the vertical stream layout. I haven't seen it myself. Like, I just see that it's popped up like last time. Okay, we'll get rid of this bit here. Clean up that. And then which is white on the other side, so we'll add the other side white there as well. Oops. So it's just a little bit though. It's mostly up here. Nothing crazy. And then... is that the one that would be up top, or would that be more so like here? And the bit in front of it should be brown as well. Okay, that's fine. Didn't think I'd be trying to figure out how hair works on this stream, but that's an interesting thing to try and figure out, is how the hair flows depending on where it sits. I didn't think about that beforehand, but when you're doing little strands of color, you kind of have to figure out where the stuff is going. And then I can do some more brown. I'll kind of clear up this bit as well. I guess technically it would come up on the other side, because if you're rolling it around, it'd be like this. We don't want to make this, you know, too far down. Okay. Move on from the hair in a second. There we go. That's done. That's fine. And then technically, I think this white little strand above the chest would also have bits and pieces of white too, I think. Same with like this bit here. Okay. And then we'll add maybe a little bit there. Just a little bit, maybe not too much, but there we go. From there, what else are we gonna do? We could probably do the crown. That's something like a gold color. I guess I'll match the gold coloring of the rest of the outfit so it doesn't stick out too much, because hers is almost like an ombre kind of orangey color. Alrighty, you're still. Okay. Also, sorry, I'm trying not to spin it too much, because I know I'm going to give one of you guys like an epileptic stroke if I keep spinning the canvas. Like that. I'm just going to kind of continue to finish it like so. And then we'll do the wings as well. They're kind of fully golden anyway, so I don't need to worry about that too much. Just kind of fill out the wing. I already have epilepsy since childhood. No need to have another condition. Okay, sorry about that. Well, I gotta be careful now, right? If I'm gonna give one of you guys a stroke. I need to be careful, because if I'm just drawing myself, sometimes I spin the screen like 360 degrees like that for just no reason, and I'll start spinning really, really fast. I don't know why. You know, some artists have fun habits, like they'll flip it horizontally to see if it's mirrored properly. That's a good habit. What I do, I spin it for no reason. It doesn't serve any kind of purpose whatsoever. But I still do it. I don't know why. There we go, like so. We'll just continue up here. Da-da-da-da. And the other wing is done, mostly. And then we'll get kind of that lighter pink color. I can probably lower the opacity on the background a little bit, because I mean, it's mostly colored anyways. I can color this little gem here. And then also these little guys. Let me just pop that like so. Perfect. There we go. What do we have next to do? We can do the little blue patches. Yeah, just like regular white in the eye, right? Yeah. So we'll just kind of shade around the eye like so, give it a little bit of that, and then we can fill the rest in with white. Though that would be an interesting superpower to make people go through conditions by screen, then I'm reminded of that scene from Death Note. I mean, it would be. Sometimes whenever you get asked the question, like, what would your superpower be? Half the time I'm like, oh, talk to animals, or oh, something cool like shapeshifting. However, if I'm watching particularly a particular TV show with like an annoying character, sometimes I wish I had the power to slap people through a screen. That'd be fun. Someone's doing something stupid, I'm just like, snap the hell out of it. Okay, let me tab back in. I haven't actually, funny thing enough, I haven't seen Death Note, so I'm not particularly sure what scene you're talking about. I know I should. Everybody who I tell gets all like crazy surprised that I haven't seen it. But it reminds me back to like The Incredibles 2 back in the day. I remember watching that as a kid and being like terrified of the screenslaver. He'd like hypnotizing people through TV screens. For me, I was more into the X-Men. Always loved Mystique's ability. Yeah, the shape-shifting. Actually, I grew up absolutely loving a lot of Marvel comics. I was always into the X-Men and then also the Runaways I was really, really big into. Like, I've debated. I never really know what kind of superpower I'd want. Shapeshifting would be fun. But I don't know, maybe something like communicating with animals, or I was always really big on, like, summoners in games. Maybe, like, being able to create things. Okay, let me get this dark bit, and I'm gonna go circle the eye like how he does. And there we go. And you already have that slapping ability, just yelling randomly after such a long comm screen. I consider that a slap. I guess so. I never really thought about it that way. Sometimes, I mean, I try to fill the gap because I know there's a lot of times where people stream and it's just kind of like quiet nothingness for ages and ages and ages, and they say something, but I feel like that's just kind of pointless. I like giving people a reason to tune in. I feel like if, you know, I'm yapping and being weird, then at least it's a reason. So I don't, you know, I try to fill the silence a little bit. Okay, first I'm gonna continue filling in these guys here. But that slapping ability, sometimes I genuinely wish I could slap stupid characters from TV shows through the screen. It would solve a hell of a lot of problems. Because funnily enough, a friend of mine got me to watch JJK the other day. It was like the first couple episodes, which is fine. It's interesting. I love dark fantasy shows, so, you know, it would be up my alley anyways. I just never had the time for it. Like, okay, we'll put aside a couple hours and we'll start watching it. And I enjoyed it. It was fun, but I feel like a lot of the time I was just like, oh, this guy's being an idiot. I feel like you're being a dumbass. Sir, you're being stupid, please. And he kept laughing. He had to pause it constantly because I was just making like passive-aggressive comments at everybody. Okay, this last one down here as well, we can make blue. Let me grab that color again. And then we'll fill it down here. And then we can get some of that like dark blue color. Okay, let me put that there. Amelie got herself a recorder to no longer scream. Cheating move from her. Yeah, I saw that. Oh my god, that's funny. I think if I could genuinely did that, you would lose your hearing. You would absolutely start to bleed through your ears because I have zero musical ability. Like, I can't do instruments, I can't sing to save my life. The funny thing is, I don't actually scream a lot, even when I get scared, because I think usually I just get annoyed and frustrated. And my irritation overpowers my fear. Okay, we'll continue to fill like so, and then I'm gonna stop zooming in. Stop zooming in. There we go. We'll do the little beads. I don't even know what those are supposed to be, like ladybugs? That's kind of what they look like to me. Half the time I wonder how this mangaka makes his designs, because it feels like he just kind of snorted some drugs and then decided to draw clothing after that, because a lot of this is just so out there. And I mean it in a good way too, because it's very, very unique. You look at a lot of character designs from shows now, and they look very the same. Like a lot of new gacha games that come out or everything, it's always very samey. But all of his characters are like extremely unique at a glance. Clean that up, okay. And then that last bit. We'll go like so. Just kind of fill that. Okay. Little heart thing, and then those two tiny little dots. Okay. Ottimo, ottimo. I need to figure out the coloring on this funky little guy. Because if I have Rima's head, it's her mascot thing. I forget what he's called. I need to look it up. But this little guy here, and I forget what Giorno's stand is. I'm, fake fan. Oh no, cancel me. Golden and then probably white, like that mask as well. It's like a weird fusion between Rima's mascot and the stand. Also, that was another thing that bothered me or stopped me from watching Persona, is I knew somebody back in, I don't know, middle school. And they knew I was a Persona fan. And anytime they saw me like either reading or watching Persona or doing anything like that related to it, or had a background that was Persona 5, and they used to just talk about, oh my god, it's such a cheap ripoff from JoJo, how can you watch that, blah blah blah, it's the exact same thing. And I was like, buddy, one of them are stands, the other thing are manifestations of your specific personality when you're in other people's heads. And you never listen to me. But I think that was probably one of the biggest things that stopped me from watching it, was just this one guy. He was so irritating. He would never shut up. So I just associated that with a fan base, but I mean, from what I saw, Part 5 seemed very interesting. I don't know. I might give it another shot. That's the thing, like, all it takes is a fan base to ruin a perfectly good show. Like, My Hero Academia, god, I was afraid of watching it for years because of the freaks that make up its fan base. And then I watched it and the show was great. Or The Amazing Digital Circus, like that, there was a bunch of drama recently. Well, not even drama, just the fans were being unhinged, complaining about the decisions from Glitch. Okay, we'll get this pink thing here. And then we'll get the purple there as well. And I'm debating now, because technically a lot of this is supposed to just be golds. So let me tab back into the other guy and kind of see what it's supposed to look like. I'm debating, because technically it's the same color as his hair. Also, I may or may not turn the backing volume down because it's blasting my ears. I don't know about you guys. Because this here, it's the same color as Giovanni's hair, but... or Giorno's hair. Because Rima has the brown hair, I could make the base of this brown as well. Decisions. Yes, no, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I guess we'll go with the gold for now, because at least the gold detailing isn't going to change too much. Like, this sleeve on the arm is going to be gold. And I can figure out the rest of it later. And there we go. Like that, and then we also have like this piece in the center. I still remember reading My Hero Academia before it became popular in Manga Fox. There'd ugly drawings back then, but it improved over time. I mean, that's fine, right? It's always interesting to see how people improve, especially like even the creator for One Punch Man, like the one where it was really, really scribbly and like really, really messy. He draws incredibly now. I saw some of the more recent stuff, but it's funny just how much time will do. torso chest piece here. Actually, I might just grab a drink of water. One second, I'm gonna mute so you freaks don't hear me. Okay, we're back. That's another thing I need to do though, is I want to read more manga. I feel like I haven't had the time, and I feel like I can definitely make time. But I read a lot back in the day, middle school, high school, that sort of thing, and just stopped afterwards. I think I've read like Fairy Tail, Camo, I did Black Clover more recently. There's definitely a lot I feel like would be really, really interesting, because especially shows where they're not being continued, or you're waiting for the new season, it's always, you know, good idea to just pick up the manga and see what it's like. And especially to support the creator too, because, you know, they don't usually get paid from the anime. There we go. That golden bit. I have no idea what this opening is supposed to be. There we go. Continue to fill like so. I need to probably undo alpha lock because there is a little gap there. Let me move this reference. Move over here. Come on. Move reference, please. Why are you being difficult? Whatever. Can't see myself watching One Piece though. I don't care how popular it is. I did enjoy the Netflix version, but I just didn't like the drawings back then. Too ugly for me to really enjoy. Interesting. I mean, I guess I can't really judge. I've never... I mean, that's fair. I've watched maybe the first 100, 200 episodes. I mean, it was fine. I enjoyed it. The only thing is, I'm not crazy particular on art styles. Usually, the funny thing is, like, I can't judge anybody. My favorite movie of all time is Hoodwinked. And, like, some people say that's the worst animation ever. So I don't really know. That's not necessarily, like, a crazy big thing for me. But I can understand. Used to do a lot of things, manga, light novels, video games, anime, TV shows. Just don't have the time now for all, so eliminated many activities. Yeah, I feel like that's just a lot of kind of grown up, unfortunately. You take it for granted, but even, like, I had a full-time job in high school, so that was really, really short-lived. The only time I really had time to read anything was, like, on the bus. I used to do that back in the day. Okay, so we got this kind of purple bit here. I feel like technically the purple is supposed to be a little bit duller in the actual one, but it's better just to match anyways. And we'll color these guys. And then color this guy as well. And then this bit here, this is also supposed to be purple. See, this is what I mean. I'm not wearing my glove because I burnt my knuckle, and now I'm moving the screen anytime I try and do anything. gold bit is technically supposed to be in these kind of like ear cover things as well. I think so. That makes sense. I'm just debating if I want to make it like all brown or not, but I feel like no. Maybe just the face. Maybe that's my compromise, is I just do a tiny bit on the face, and then the rest can still be light colored. Okay, and then I will tab back over to Rima's little mascot there. This little guy, so we can color grab his nose in a minute. Around here, that's another thing. I really appreciate the stand designs. They're very, very unique. Maybe one day eventually we'll have to do like my own character review design thing on screen there, on stream, and then I can go through some of my old stuff. Maybe we'll edit it. I've debated doing shorts where I go through some of my old work and redraw it there. That might be another thing I need to add to my list. I have like a growing book of just like YouTube ideas. Maybe a slightly more vibrant yellow. Okay. And then these guys do as well, so let me continue to color those. Up and down this arm here, this is all technically supposed to be yellow. I forget what the band is supposed to be, but we'll just kind of splash the colors on there so I don't forget which ones go where. That's fine. This sort of top piece is all supposed to be golden as well. I need to kind of make sure it stays in the lines. God, I'm like a kindergartner. I can't even keep in lines. Perfect. And then from there, we'll do the pink nose. This is the only reason I tab back. I need to just get it over with. Grab that pink color. No, way too dark. Let me lighten it. Something like that. And then maybe I add some of that like darker brown color here. Maybe just in the face, but I'm debating. No. You know what? No. No. We'll go back to the other guy now. That's okay. I have actually decided against it. I've made my final ruling. We're not doing that anymore. And then we can get that kind of gray color, sort of. It's just, yeah. The lines in between, like so. There we are, we'll continue. Like so. There we go. On the edge too, perhaps. And then lines like this guy over here. Perfect. Continue to color in the rest of it. Maybe I need to increase this. No, well, no. Shift the height up a little bit. That was too far down. Grab this gray, move it. No, gray. There we go. Color grab tool. Don't give me another reason to dislike you. So that spot there is fine, just a little bit too thick. Maybe what I can do, at least reference this guy, is I can make this bottom piece white. Something like that. And then I can make the rest of the face the same yellow color. Yeah, I'll do that coloring afterwards, because I'm just going to go on top of it anyways. So we go this little yellow. Grab this. Nope, I keep grabbing the black. Grab the gray. I can do the gray around the edges, maybe. That's interesting. I don't know why I shifted the screen. Let me shift it back out. Oh, and also the song is Unravel. I recognize this one everywhere. I have to go on. Nice saying hello. Loving your Rima. Hey, no problem. See you later. Take care. Hope you have a good day. Bye-bye now. Okay. And then this bit down here. I need to get the kind of slits, darker colors anyways, but that's fine. Oh. Trim those down. There we go. You know, I know this song now. I don't know the actual song itself, but I've heard it so many times through this compilation that I just know the beats itself by heart, the melody. I can probably fill this bit here. I don't know what that's supposed to be. Oh, it's supposed to be like a really dark orangey color, almost like a red-brown. So we'll go down like so. This is almost brown, kind of murky colored. Do-do-do. Oh, I'm an idiot. This is supposed to be that color. And this bit above is supposed to be the darker yellow. I'm a moron. I'm cool. You're a dumbass. That's what I'm. Okay. I didn't realize I made that mistake. Let's change that right now. There we go. And I can fill that. Actually, you know, that does work out. It colors the rest of the hand too, which is nice. I didn't even realize that. That's less work for me. Kind of paint these guys in there. There we go. I feel it's working fine for now. The shading is definitely going to do a lot to help. But I mean, the base coloring is kind of close. It's okay. Shade that. Okay. And then I think the last bit of flat coloring that we need to do is the shoes themselves. Well, that and that dark color. Or is this? Yeah, that is like that. So we'll just kind of tune this into the purple zone. Color this bit. Around like that. And then do this little heart bit, those two tiny dots. And I think the similar pattern is here, so I'm gonna have to retrace it, maybe find another reference of the stand and do that afterwards, but I think the shoes are what we need to get now. I think it was this one. This one is the most zoomed out. I'm assuming it's in this reference. There we go. And there's green, but I doubt you'd see any green from the top view. If you do, it'd be like a microscopic little detail. Maybe those little tiny blue scarab things. I'm starting to think, is this family crest? It appears everywhere. And then we can get like little black lines and kind of trace around them like the shoes do. There we go. And that's our flat color done. Now, the question is, do I want to start shading? Or I need to figure out what his hair tie is. Is it just tied regularly? There's no hair tie. Of course not. So that means that this would actually just be skin, or sorry, not skin, hair color as well. Alrighty, ta-da! Now then. On that note, at least for today, we're not going to end yet. Might work on this for maybe like 5 more minutes, and then I'm going to tab over to some rivals. I'm going to end the YouTube stream at least in about 5 minutes because, you know, that one's just for art. But for Twitch and Kick, we're going to try and see. It worked a little bit earlier. I'm just going to play 1 or 2 games, see if it still works, because I want to get it set up now. The settings were changed. I changed like the display, the graphics, the latency, all that sort of thing. So hopefully it works better. The recording I did earlier worked perfectly fine, and that's comparable to streaming. It may not be as intensive, so I think it's, you know, we're going to give it a test. But first things first, we're going to maybe just do a little bit more of the flat coloring. Oh, I didn't realize, I just noticed something there. This is out of place, so let me fix that. Now I guess I could start with just some like simple shading for today. Okay, let's get that dark color there. Maybe we'll have something like this here. Just kind of adding some pops of shading everywhere. Technically down here too, this would mostly be covered anyways. Okay, there we go. That's working. Maybe not. Maybe I can put a little bit more back. Because this bit is what's going to be shaded. There we go. Oh my god, I love your... Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Welcome on in. Pleasure to make your acquaintance. Izzy LDK. I'll just call you Izzy. The name's Sheshire. Nice to meet you. Just doing some kind of JoJo's Part 5 inspired art here. We're turning a VTuber Rima Evenstar into a JoJo's kind of Giovanni Giorno looking. But yeah, hopefully you're doing well. Welcome on in. Welcome, welcome. Feel free to sit back, relax, and enjoy the schizophrenic sound of my voice. Okay, let me zoom back out. For some reason, my reference is being difficult today, and I don't know why. Come on, zoom out. Let's do... Buddy, zoom out or I will kill you. Come on. Wrong way, but that's fine. You know what? That's all I'm going to take. So, yeah, Giovanni Giorno, Part 5 here. I haven't seen it myself, but I saw actually Rima Evenstar, who is the VTuber we're putting in his outfit. This lady here. Her is Giorno, because I saw her reacting to it, so I figure why not. What type of app are you using? I'm using Procreate. It's the only one I learned how to do. I know there's other ones out there. I like to say I'm spiritually 87 years old, and me learning another program would be like teaching a 20-year-old dog how to do a trick. It just wouldn't work. Okay. Yeah, so we kind of, you know, just pick some random brushes and draw and Procreate. Get these guys, let's get back to that. Where else would there be shading? That's the thing about this art style I need to get used to, is that everything is very dramatic. There's like intense shading everywhere. I think the neck, first and foremost, that would be kind of completely covered here. A lot of the shoulder bits. How much is Procreate? I'm pretty sure it's like expensive or something. I don't remember. I think back when I got it, it was like $5, maybe? I know, I hate paying for things I don't have to do. That's why I like refuse to buy brush packs, but I can double check actually. You know what, we'll do some research right now. It should take like 30 seconds. I know there's other ones out there. I just didn't know what the kind of like free alternatives or that sort of thing. So the one I got from my iPad, depending on where you are, probably around 15 to 14, 15 American. Which, yeah, isn't probably great. I'm sure there's probably cheaper alternatives out there. I didn't do much research when I got it, which probably wasn't the smartest thing. Something like that. Dun, 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 dun. And then I guess we'll just kind of continue to carve it out. We'll do some lines like so. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, all back here. I see. Right, right. Yeah, definitely. It's not great. I'm sure there's other alternatives. And I know there's Clip Studio Paint. I don't know how expensive that one is. Yeah, I have not done research. As you can tell, I very much have not done research into the topic. I kind of just grabbed it back in the day. It's also technically, it was a little bit different for me because I, like, got it, but I had to pay for it myself. But I had been working since I was 13. I had a full-time job, so it's a little bit different. Sorry about that. I'm sure if you look up free alternatives, there's a bunch of other ones out there. I honestly just start to think it's more based off the person and less on the app anyways. Because I've seen people use this and do absolutely incredible stuff, and that I don't think I'd ever be able to. Okay. Okay, now these guys should technically be shaded here, so we'll do that. Yeah, I just saw it at the time, and I was like, okay, well, I know nothing else about any other drawing app, so I'm just going to grab this one, because apparently it works. There we go. Okay, so we'll just continue with this bit down here with the shading. This is really basically the most important step with doing a JoJo's art style, because a lot of it's going to be the black scale. So I'm going to have to go afterwards and just add a bunch of black everywhere to make the shadows much harsher. I use it just because it's free. Yeah, I mean, honestly, it works fine. I've never actually used it myself, but I know people who do like incredible art and they use it, so don't you worry. I think that's a perfectly fine choice. I'm trying to figure out where the lighting source. I mean, if it's directly above, I could add just a little bit down there, and technically there would be some under the arm. Yeah, I mean, it's up to you, definitely. I mean, I'm kind of a hypocrite saying this, but maybe definitely look at a video about it beforehand. I didn't, but, you know, do as they say, not as they do. Because, I mean, if you're not in a hurry, then take your time with it and just kind of figure it out. I mean, it works fine for me, and I do all sorts of stuff. I mean, you know, let's go through a little catalog. This is something more recent, but you can kind of do all sorts of stuff. Like, this is more of a drawing there. You can do animations, too. Like, I was working on one more recently. I don't think I can pull it up, but it's pretty versatile, all things considered. I know they came out with one for animation specifically. I'd say it's pretty good for what it is, right? I mean, I haven't done a lot of shopping around, so I'm not really sure. Otherwise, I've grown accustomed to it, but I mean, it works fine. I don't dislike it personally. I mean, yeah, and there's all sorts of tricks and stuff you can do with it. I don't really know how half of them work anyways, but like all the layering. Thanks so much, I appreciate it. Trying to see if there's any, like I had an animation that may not be saved. God damn it, okay. Sometimes I send files to like my computer so I can clear up space, and I did that for an animation I was working on, which unfortunately I can't do here. But I mean, it works fine. The only thing I will say is just make sure if you're doing it, just increase the canvas size if you can. Just make the canvas way bigger. It'll save you so much time in the long run. Because I think that's what I wanted to do. I originally was, if I scroll back down, you can see it gets really pixelated with some of the drawings. So that was probably one of the biggest mistakes I made when I was first starting out. Like even take something like this back in the day. If you zoom in, you can see like it's relatively pixelated, and I don't even have to zoom in that far. And you don't end up using the I'm gonna steal your art skills. I mean, you're more than welcome to, right? But that's like the biggest thing I learned is just make things absolutely massive, because that way you can do more details. Like if I go with something like this, I just made the canvas huge and it's not even pixelated yet. Okay, so I can probably shade this bit here. Now then, we have some shading on the neck, probably. This is definitely going to be mostly closed off here. I can just shade all of it. That's the biggest thing, because you can do a lot more detail if you make it zoomed, if you just increase the canvas size, because at first I was like, oh my god, maybe I'm going to do a bunch of different layers. Some people I know do like 30, 40 layers. I do 2, sometimes 3. I honestly find the layers just make it more difficult for no reason. But I mean, it's up to you, whatever works for you, really. Okay. I mean, yeah, and if you're working even from the same thing, I actually want to be an animator, but I don't have the money right now. I see. Well, I mean, if you have a free alternative, even your like Ibis paint right now, just keep working with that. I've seen some crazy things out there just from doing bits and pieces every day on whatever they had growing up. Olivia Joseph and Kick, I'm doing all right. Welcome on in. How are you doing? Name's Cheshire. My pleasure to make your acquaintance. But yeah, actually, funny thing enough about animation, I was planning to make like a really, really long one over the summer. I hadn't decided what it was going to be, but I plan to do a couple different animations over the summer, so actually maybe keep an eye out. That's cool, thank you. We're doing like a JoJo's Bizarre Adventure version of a VTuber, Rima Evenstar. But yeah, Izzy, you'll have to let me know if you do get something one day for some animations and you find it's pretty good, let me know, because I want to definitely do some more in the future. So do you stream every day? I mean, on and off sometimes. I try to do every day. I didn't stream yesterday, the day before that recently, because I had some tech issues that we had to work out. But going into the summer, I definitely plan on streaming more often. But yeah, usually at least every other day. Yeah, we do some art, some games here and there. On YouTube, it's just art, but on Twitch and Kick, I do some games too. Horror RPGs, maybe some shooters. I was actually going to try and get Marvel Rivals to work today. I had to fix that. But yeah, actually, you know what? On that note, I do have something coming up soon. So I think I might end it there for YouTube. Kick and Twitch, we're going to switch over to Marvel Rivals, and I'm just going to test it with 1 or 2 games. What are you making an animation about? Actually, it was supposed to be a VTuber. You know what? We'll give you some little spoilers right now before I end stream. Amelie, Monarch, if you haven't heard of her. She's a VTuber. Planning to do an animation for her, like a really, really long one. Because she has this lore about being this overseer of multiverses and time and that sort of thing. So I want to do one where it's like the bad ending. Almost similar to Myth's Bad End, if you've heard of that. Where like what happens when one of the multiverses end poorly and she has to, like put everybody down in it. Something like that. And then I also just want to do like 2 or 3 second snippets. I have one planned for TikToker Call Me Chris. And then I had one for Dish PNG as well. She does Marvel Rivals gaming a lot, but like 2 or 3 second little like snippet animations of certain YouTubers would be fun. And if I do, I'll post them on YouTube and TikTok. But yeah, I have a long list of stuff. I have a book written down for a bunch of YouTube ideas, and I need to start some of them. So yeah, probably just some animations for some VTubers and some YouTubers. Alrighty. Okay, unfortunately I do have to get going soon, but I still want to test out my streaming. So I'm gonna end YouTube for today, unfortunately, because I want to keep that relatively consistent with art. You know what you're talking, okay. But yeah, thank you so much for coming by. I appreciate you all so much. We'll continue with some rivals on Twitch and Kick if you want, but otherwise I'll see you all later. Alrighty? Here, let me play a little animation for you guys. Bye.